Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear? Okay.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Sorry, I had it on mute for a long time. So I'm gonna get started, you guys. So again, we are not doing the, I don't know if you can you see me or is it the shared screen?
Good to see you.
You can see me? Oh, okay.
You're big.
Okay, so again, we're not doing the sales meeting on Mondays anymore. We are now, going to just host them within our monthly team meeting. So, welcome to our new and improved office meeting for the month of November. We're just gonna go over a few things. It won't be too long, but I do wanna, there's a bunch of events coming up that I wanna go over with you guys. And I am going to have you, Kate, can you go to the next screen? Okay, if you don't know me, I'm Ryan Fox, the broker and CEO of the Fox Group in Beverly Hills, and soon we will be opening up. What we do have is a couple of announcements on our new offices. So we were going to initially start off in Houston. I've actually went back to my original plan, which is gonna be Dallas instead of Houston. I just have a little bit more of a footing there and some more connections that it makes a little more sense to be there, and I'm gonna be buying a home there pretty soon myself. So that is actually where we're gonna open up next. So our Dallas and Las Vegas will likely be our next out-of-state locations that will be opening in within the next 60 days or so. Bakersfield, oh, you know what? You can go to the next screen. Sorry. Okay, so these are some of the things we're gonna go over. So before I get to the offices, let me start at the top. Corporate license transfer. So for all of my team that is on the Zoom or here, most of it today, on the Zoom, please remember to go on the DRE site and update your license to the corporation license that we have under the Fox Group Enterprises, Inc. So by doing that, you just log onto the dre.ca.gov. That's just for the California agents that are on. You need to go in there and change it from Ryan Fox to Fox Group Enterprises, Inc. Okay. Podcast interviews. So I have recently, so I know you guys are over at Nova now, right?
After the day we're debating, if we're gonna lock that in Tuesday or not.
Okay.
Are you doing your own?
Yeah, so I'm getting started with my original plan, which was to do a podcast. But we're gonna do that. We have our guest list and all of that, so I was thinking of joining there. I haven't joined yet, but we will be doing that, and I'm gonna have my entire team on. And we're gonna segment it, you know, we'll have 2 at a time, we'll have 3, we'll have 1 at a time. But we should be starting to shoot that hopefully by the end of this month. So be ready for that. YouTube reality show. So, you know, I've gone back and forth with doing reality TV, but it is something that I've gotten presented time, so it's something that I've decided to do. So, we're starting slow, thank you. One of my clients is doing it, and what he's done is basically he's filming his own reality show on YouTube, right? So then from that, the idea is that it's so intriguing that it gets picked up by a network. A similar route. So right now I'm confirming things with the videographer and just getting everything together, but we will start filming that for our YouTube series. We're gonna start doing our own reality show. So everyone will have to sign some forms and stuff like that, but if you want to be included, definitely like reach out to me. We're going to reach out to everyone else, but just make sure you are, because it's gonna be exciting. I think in today's day and age, we have to be public, even though we don't want to. And someone like me who's extremely old school and very private, and I don't like people in my business, I feel like we can't avoid it in this day and age. We have to be visible online. We have to be visible on social media. If not just, so people can see us, but because we need to remind everyone else of what we do. There's so many people who have less skills, less experience, less everything, but because they're on the forefront of Instagram every day, they're shooting a video about real estate. They are appearing as if they are, these real estate gurus and these, these specialists, and like as if they are the people to go to. And quite frankly, most people don't really care who they use. They just go for whoever they saw last, whoever sent them their phone number last, whoever was easiest to contact. And so I just decided that and it's something that the feedback I keep getting is, wow, I didn't know you guys were there. Oh, I didn't know, like since I met you, it's great. I didn't know you did this. I didn't know you had a team. I didn't know you were in Beverly Hills. I didn't know you were in Miami. If people knew, I would, you definitely, there'd be more. So what I decided to do was, okay, we're gonna make sure everyone knows. So besides the billboards and some other things that we're working on, we're gonna be everywhere. That's the goal. So by early 2024, first quarter, I plan on us being everywhere. So yeah, so for my friends, my associates, everyone that works with me, you want to be involved, definitely like let's connect, because at the end of the day, we can't really be successful in today's economy without being everywhere. People don't want to necessarily pull up to see you in person and social media, right? So, or a podcast. So I'm starting a podcast to broadcast myself, my brand, my company, right? So it's not just to do a podcast because everybody doesn't want to hear me talk. However, I think I have something to say, and I think that it'll help just catapult things. Okay, so reality show. Miami Career Day, that's something, I'm gonna be leaving back out to Miami in a few weeks. And I'm gonna put a lot of focus on Miami again while I'm there. And we're gonna do quite a bit there with the recruiting pretty soon here. So that's coming up in Miami. Bakersfield and Miami office, but Bakersfield, we should have our office locked in by December 1st. I want to do a ribbon cutting before the end of December in Bakersfield. Being that it's my hometown, I've just been getting a lot of feedback and people want us there fully, physically. Right now we have a virtual office there, but we have some of our team is there, and I do a lot of business there. So we are going to hopefully do our ribbon cutting there in the month of December once we secure our location completely. All right, in Miami, we pushed that back, pushed Miami's ribbon cutting back, but we should be doing that soon. If not December, it's going to be early January. So hopefully everybody can make it there. That's super important to me. Miami and Bakersfield. Bakersfield especially because that's home. It's super important and it's affordable. So for a lot of my investors, or my new investors, it's a safer market to get started. $10,000 in Bakersfield can get you a property. It can get you a duplex. Okay, so of course that's tight, but you can get something, right? So I think it's a great entry level place to get started, and it's only an hour and a half of the freeway from Los Angeles. So, so we will be doing that there. Upcoming events we're gonna go over on one of the next slides. The NAR versus Burnett, we're gonna go over on the next slide. new construction. So, Laura and I have discussed this, because that's her specialty, but we're gonna be focusing a lot on some of these new construction buildings. From here all the way to Miami. Because if you notice, but I'm not in Miami. In Miami, they're doing a ton of construction, a ton of it. So Miami is where LA was, let's say, 25 years ago, when there was still land. There were still buildings that you can get and build some high rises, and it makes sense, right? So, I'm gonna do a lot with the new construction and with some developers that I've met, and I'm hoping to meet a few more. Because quite frankly, if you look at LA, if you see what they're building, they are building multifamily properties everywhere. That is an opportunity for you to connect with those builders and either be their exclusive listing agent for the rentals, or what a lot of people are doing, they're developing them and then they're selling the buildings. They don't want to keep them, they just want to do the development, get it to a certain point, and then they sell it to someone who wants the long-term rental income. Okay, so they're still flipping, but they're flipping multifamily. Commercial real estate is, I've had many people come to me and say, oh, commercial real estate sucks right now, it's slow. Again, it's all about your perspective. In my opinion, when it's slow, that means it's a great opportunity for many people. I like to say the Black and brown community, because that's where I kind of target Black and brown community to get into commercial real estate right now. Because what you're gonna see right now is a lot of people have empty spaces. So if you look, there's multiple reasons, but of course COVID. So a lot of people start working from home. We don't need a full office. That overhead is unnecessary in today's economy. A lot of people are working from home, and they discovered that they have been able to function at a high level with many of their team working home. Now, you may still have some of your team, your management or certain staff members come in, but you don't need a full office paying $20,000 a month in rental, in rent. So what's happening is a lot of these buildings, especially office buildings, they're empty. So you have these owners. Now keep in mind, commercial real estate investors are a lot sophisticated. A lot of times they own property and they don't need that income. So they're not looking, they'd rather wait on the right person or just hold on to it and pass it to the children. But now is a great time if you have not done very much in commercial real estate as a realtor and too much claims. For instance, I know like Asiana, she recently closed a couple of commercial transactions. And I know it was new to her, and I've had other people. The thing about it is that I love commercial, and it's actually where I'm going to put my focus on. We'll be involved a little bit more with the luxury real estate market. However, I'm going to put my energy into commercial. It's what I love the most, and it's what I want to focus on. So with that, I encourage you, the realtors that are in here on the Zoom, you can talk to me. You are in the academy with me, so you can talk to me. Let's talk about how to get you into more commercial leasing. Okay, because commercial leasing, it's a unique space, and I would say it's a lot more wide open than first-time home buyers, because what many people do is they jump into real estate and they start focusing on trying to convince people to buy their first home. Well, let's start convincing people to lease a commercial space or expand a business, or to sell their commercial properties, and we become the listing agents, or to buy. Now is a time where you do, same with residential, you have the opportunity to get a little more incentive to close on a commercial property, because if you look around, there's many more vacancies now, right? So the down payment is a little bit more stiff. We're looking at 20 to 30% down on a commercial property. However, I would say your personal finances are a lot less important when you're buying commercial. The building itself, what type of businesses are in there, the income it could produce. A lot of that is much more of a factor when it comes to commercial. And as far as I'm concerned, it's just a safer, it's a safer way to invest. The key here is, what are you gonna use your space for? Because, right now, what I've been seeing a lot of, actually been talking to quite a few people about is, you know, I was just talking to someone last night about it. The way that you can structure your commercial space now is similar to like what nobody's doing, right? So you set it up to, everybody's gonna podcast, everyone is doing photo shoots, everyone wants some type of a lounge area or something like that where they can take their business, because again, they don't want the overhead of having an office space, right? So, one thing that I've seen a lot of people do, not a lot, but I've seen people do as of late, and I'm working with someone in Houston, doing the same thing with his commercial space, is charging for memberships. Charging a small membership fee of, let's say, $99 a month, and you have full access to create your podcast, or to, you know, you get a lot of a certain amount of hours per month where you can shoot your podcast, or you can do a photo shoot, or you can meet with clients. So, again, it's now just the time to be unique. I think right now it's, you know, most people aren't trying to house all of their staff in one building. Even attorneys' offices and stuff like that, they are looking to decrease their overhead, right? People have less money to spend, which means your revenue goes down, which means you can't spend $10,000 a month on your office space. So what we're needing to do is be unique. So similar to like what I have here, this particular building owner is a private owner. And they own a lot of these buildings right here. But this makes more sense. So you have one small office suite that someone pays maybe, you know, $1,500 a month, which is easier to maintain than someone having to rent this entire floor for $25,000 a month. Right? So now they have, I don't know, 20 different spaces here, paying them between $1,500 and $3,500 a month. Well, they're probably making around the $30,000 mark. But if one of us can't pay, it's only a small fraction unable to be retained. So people are getting creative. All right. So again, commercial is where I'm going to focus. Just because honestly, I think it's a great market that we need to see more people that look like me in. And because a lot of people that look like me are entrepreneurs, I think we need to make sure we have representation that understands the culture, understands the business structures that we have, and understands that, hey, there is a lane for us. You do not have to be rich. Of course, we all want a super high rise in Beverly Hills, but it's not necessary to start. We can start with the small strip centers on Slauson that have been, you know, run down for 25 years, 35 years. Now the prices have shot up, but imagine if we bought those buildings in those areas that were overlooked by so many people for many years. Imagine if we bought them when they were $250. When I moved to Los Angeles, they were about $250. And people told me that it was ridiculous to think about buying them, and I couldn't get some partners to team up with me. Those same buildings are $2 million. Vacant and meet up, they're $2 million. So, yeah. So, okay, Kate, I'm gonna have you go to the next slide. We're gonna talk about the NAR versus Burnett case. So I don't know if many of you are aware, but this is huge. So there's been a recent case that a huge lawsuit in, I think it's Kansas, Missouri, filed against NAR. And it's Burnett and Samuels or something like that against NAR, the National Association of Real Estate. What they have said, what Burnett has said, their case is that NAR and some of the big box brokers in that area have conspired to make commissions, which is illegal for us to do, is basically to conspire to keep commissions high, pretty much. Which is crazy because in all my years of being affiliated with NAR has never talked to us about commissions. They don't talk to us about it. they always say commissions are negotiable, which they always are. But what happens is you have some sellers who said, no, you guys are forcing us to offer a commission and pay the buyer's agent when we put our properties for sale on the MLS. So the problem is with most of our MLSs, in order to put it on there, you have to offer something. You have to offer the buyer's agent something. So if I list your home for sale, and let's just say your home is $500,000 and I sign a listing agreement with you as the homeowner, and we negotiate that, it's gonna be 6% is what you're gonna pay. Well, what happens is, in that same contract, I have to offer a buyer's agent something, right? And in order to put it on the local MLS, I have to offer something. Now, I can offer $1 out of my 6% commission, but the standard, and this is the problem is at work, the standard is half of whatever. So if I'm getting 6%, I'm offering the buyer's agent 3%. So that's kind of the going rate. Well, these sellers are saying, well, why, when I list the property with a real estate agent, do I have to pay the buyer's agent? The buyer should have to pay the buyer's agent. Well, the problem with that is that, well, there's a few problems with that. For one, I understand as a seller, you know, hey, let the buyer's agent pay for themselves. The problem is in our industry, we work together. That's how it's pretty much always been. You get you get 20,000 to sell this property. If I bring the buyer to it, you give me 10. We split it, right? Because if it wasn't for me and my buyer, you wouldn't have a deal, right? Well, the fact that they have just said that Burnett has won this. Now this is more of a local thing because it's in Kansas, it's in Missouri. However, what it does is open a can of worms. Because now what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a lot of sellers all over suing NAR for the same thing. And they sued like KW, Compass Related, a bunch of other brokerages on top of NAR. It's not just the National Association, which all of us realtors have to be affiliated with. Okay, in order to call yourself a realtor, you have to be a part of NAR and CAR, which is California Association. So what that says is, okay, if we have to take out the fact that we have to pay that we're paying the buyer's agent, who's gonna pay the buyer's agent? So what happens is if I'm selling this house, I'm only making 2% there, right? Because hey, we're not paying the buyer's agent. So what's gonna happen is your buyer is going to have to not only come up with down payment and closing costs, now they have to compensate their realtor if they want real estate representation. The problem is a lot of people barely have a down payment, they barely have closing costs. So what's gonna happen is one or two things. They're gonna either let the seller's agent double-end it, which in some cases can be somewhat unethical because a lot of realtors are unethical. And again, you're representing the seller, trying to give them the highest and best price and not fix anything, and then you're representing me as a buyer, trying to give me the lowest price, and I want all the repairs. It's kind of a conflict of interest, so it's always best if your buyer has their own representation. But now who's gonna pay for that? So if you look at some other countries, if you go to other countries and you see how their real estate market is, you get screwed a lot. Because they don't necessarily have buyer representation. You're stuck with the seller or the seller's representation, and that's the only way it goes. And the reason is because of what we have here, we have a structure, we have a system, we have a code of ethics with NAR. If that's removed, you're gonna have a lot of buyers either not having proper representation. They're either gonna have to come up with a lot more money to buy a home, which again, can we afford that in Southern California? And or we're gonna have double ending agents.
So as I'm driving in today, thinking, because to us, it doesn't make sense, right? From a realtor, broker, agent's perspective. Well, who's really buying real estate right now? Who's really buying?
Who's buying it? In this market?
Right now.
First time and investors.
Investors. So imagine if investors are trying to buy property, they don't need buyers agents.
Yeah.
If the mission is to get rid of buyers and making sure this is the rental market you will own everything, you will own, you will rent and own nothing. That's
Yeah,
what they're trying to get is, the first thing you do is get rid of representation.
Yeah.
So it's a bigger play.
yeah,
You gotta think outside of the box. This is more than just about buyers and buyers agents.
yeah,
It's the agenda to help bigger companies buy all the real estate up as they can.
Yeah.
So they can rent to everyone.
well, it makes sense that that would be the case, because I'm pretty shocked that they won. But, and I think most of us are shocked that they won this, because again, what you do is, and it's what always happens, it's the same as like anything, gentrification or anything like that. There are some people that can afford it. And you know who can afford it or who doesn't need it? Those really extremely wealthy. So what it does is it puts, those of us who are on a lower tax bracket at a disadvantage. Either we have to come up with more money or we don't have any more representation.
How many times have you closed a transaction and your buyer has more than enough money?
Yeah, it's rare. Depending on the clientele, but it's extremely rare. Usually they're counting pennies to scrounge up closing costs and down.
And getting.
A lot of times you gotta give them credit.
You have to give them credit. So Danielle knows very well. I'm always giving up credits, especially when I'm having to convince family or friends to buy real estate, right? Even some of your starter investors, it's not easy to come up with a chunk of money. But when you have your big box investors, like your corporations, your REITs, they don't need representation. They have in-house representation. So, what this means for us as practicing, now this is of course gonna be appealed. I'm sure it's gonna be a couple years down the line before it's all officially implemented. But what it does mean is that you're gonna wanna start using your buyer broker representation agreements. Because it's gonna get tricky. It just means that it opens a can of worms. So now you are going to see, even now, because now you have a lot of these big box companies that are saying our agents no longer have to be a part of NAL or the real estate association. So what's probably gonna happen is you look at Zillow. Zillow just bought follow-up costs. Zillow, that's a big major move. Because guess what? What's gonna happen if we don't have to use the MLS that so many of us use, we'll start just putting it on Zillow. We don't need the MLS, just go on Zillow. Zillow will let anyone put a house for sale by owners and everything. And you probably will see zero commission. Which means you're gonna have to tell your buyer in front, hey, you're gonna sign this buyer broker agreement, I don't work for less than 2%. So either the seller's gonna pay that 2% or you have to come up with an extra 2% for me to represent you. But then you also have in my opinion, you have a lot of real estate companies now or certain brands that will say, oh, we'll do it for $500. I'm not saying it's not fair. I mean, here's the thing, if you're willing to do $500, I'm not going to go. But it's too much liability. We are so litigious, especially here in California. I'm not selling you a property for $500. Because you could buy that house for me today and you could sue me 3 years later because of something I didn't do. As your broker, I'm not doing it for $500. But you have a broker. So that's gonna push us out of the market unless you show your value, unless you have agreements, and unless you can make it make sense to buyers. So again, this is a big case to pay attention to if you're in the real estate industry, because it's gonna have a domino effect on a lot of different things. I don't particularly use buyer broker agreements, but I will likely start, especially for some people that I don't have a real relationship. Okay, because I don't want to argue down the line, hey, this property is not gonna pay me, and then you don't wanna pay me, and then I just did all this work. We're not gonna do that. So pay attention to that. Kate, can we go to the next slide? Okay, so here's a question for some of you, and this is a word that I have to credit Nipsey Hussle for teaching me what this word is, because I saw some years ago, Nipsey Hussle opened a community space, office space, workspace, think space center in South Central LA called Vector 90. And I was like, where did he get Vector? Like, what the hell does that mean? So I had to look it up. So what does the word vector mean? Vector is an object that has both magnitude and direction. So of course, I was like, ooh, that's probably, I love that, right? So, you can go to the next slide. So I want to announce finally that we have, officially started the brand of our mortgage company, which is gonna be Vector FX Capital Group. So it's not just a mortgage company, we're a lending capital company. We are going to specialize in, not only, of course, your FHA conventional loans and hard money, but we are also going to help with other financing needs. We're also going to be investing in other businesses. In case many of you don't know, we always think that real estate makes more millionaires than any other industry. That's actually not true. Well, there's a couple things here, a couple factors in there. Actually, the insurance business is, and financial services are what make most millionaires in America, in the world, but you know, let's just say America right now, okay? So, we're gonna offer different services for our people, and we're also going to invest in businesses. Equity in businesses is what gets you to the billionaire mark. I was just listening to something today, and you know, right now, $1 million, $10 million is what $1 million used to be. Okay, so you know, and that sounds like a lot of money to people, but in reality, 6 figures is nothing in today's economy. So if you make $500,000 a year, you're struggling. If you're in California, you're struggling.
They consider 100,000.
It is extremely low income if you just make $100,000. So if you're under $100,000 a year, you're in poverty. And I don't care what you look like, you're in poverty. If you're at under $200,000 a year, you're in poverty, which means it is a struggle to pay your bills. And I can guarantee you, if you're in Southern California, you're struggling to pay your bills if you're bringing in less than $200,000. That's just the bottom line. $500,000, you might be okay, you know, you don't have kids and all that. But even $1 million, you're just starting to see a little hope on the horizon. So right now, what we're looking at is, you know, this company is very near and dear to my heart, mainly because of what I've seen. You know, we need education in qualifying for loans, and not just home loans. We need education in what it takes to qualify for commercial real estate loans, business loans, SBA financing. You can buy a building right now, you have on anything else, and you can use SBA financing. A lot of the root of this is credit, so we're gonna teach all of that, but this company is gonna be so much bigger than, you know, whatever, such and such home loans. That's not it, for me, that's not it. So we are gonna be hiring pretty soon for loan officers. We actually have a couple already, but that's gonna be a big thing for us. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, Kate.
That's the question on that.
Yeah.
With your funding, are you gonna be direct lending, or are you gonna be correspondent, or?
We're gonna do correspondent lending. Eventually, I'd like to be a direct lender.
Right.
The idea, so I have a couple people work with me. Rodney's one of them, a couple people that are helping me put together some funding, because I'd like to have some control of some funding and to help businesses and to help investors. So we're working on that. Yeah, so these are our sales from November and September and October. So it goes for our estimate of what we've brought in or what we've closed for our team has been about $650,000. Our goals are typically higher than this, but to jump from 650 to what our actual goals are is gonna be a jump. But our goals have to, our actual sales, in my opinion, are pretty much for the city of Los Angeles, right? This has been because we've done deals in Bakersfield and some smaller deals, but our sales have been pretty slow. So I'm looking to increase this over November and December. I probably have about 5 or 6 closings in November and early December. That should help us reach this, but I'm looking for us to increase it. You can go to the next slide, Kate. So I'm looking to see which one of our team members, and it can't be me, I don't wanna do it, who will be our top sales agent for November and December. We are definitely gonna have some more contests going on. We kind of lost track last time, but we're gonna have our sales goal, top sales agent win a prize in January when we go over our November and December sales. So hopefully, this is an incentive for you guys to get out there and kick butt. Remember, the market is not bad, the market has changed. All that means is that, you know, you gotta go get out there and talk to your buyers, talk to your sellers a little bit more than you did a year ago, right? So what that means is now you door knocking, cold calling, getting out and physically networking is so important. Shooting videos from your phone, from your home, from your car, whatever the case is, and just reminding people that you are the real estate agent that they should call. Okay, give some insight, give a tip. What does it take to buy your first home? A 60-second clip will get someone to call you. The idea is to get your phone ringing and to get people to call you. Well, you don't have to reach out, they're calling you. Just want to encourage you guys to do that, okay? We will not have our monthly sales meeting in December, and that is going to be because of all of our upcoming events, so, and the holidays. You can go to the next slide, Kate. So, few different things that we're having scheduled. This has been a headache for me, but we are going to have a holiday party in Woodland Hills. We're not gonna do it super big, but we actually planned on doing, you know, after we did it at Ron's house a few years ago, we were supposed to do it every year. We have not done it. But I am gonna have we're gonna announce it. We're gonna have a limited amount of people, but we are going to have our holiday party in Woodland Hills. It's gonna be on a patio area, and we'll send out the link so people can register. You have to register, it's free, but you have to register to get a ticket because we need a head count. And that's gonna be December 9th at 6 p.m. in Woodland Hills. We're gonna also have at the same location, real estate investing meeting. That's gonna be Saturday, November 18th. Real estate investing for beginners is gonna be in Woodland Hills, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. Real estate and cannabis, that's gonna be an ongoing event that we have. The date is tentative, but we are looking to schedule that date can't be right. So I'll have to look at the calendar again, but real estate and cannabis is not November 18th. So well, it can't be because that's when the other event is. That's gonna be an event where we talk to people in the cannabis industry, how to purchase buildings. Because again, what happens with a lot of people in the cannabis industry, first of all, very hard to even rent a place. Because a lot of landlords don't want cannabis related retail store or anything in their building. One of the big reasons is because still, you know, federally it's still legal. There's just a lot of stuff that can happen with that. So what we have is a few lenders that will lend to the cannabis industry. And these people have a lot of money too. People who are in the cannabis industry typically have a lot of cash. They can qualify for the down payment. It's just finding the lender that will lend to them. So we're gonna start talking to people at different cannabis stores, and I have one in particular I'm talking to that hopefully we'll have that date locked in pretty soon, and we're gonna go around just talking to different people. Because the other thing that happens is once a landlord realizes you're in the cannabis industry, you know, the rent goes from $3,000 a month to $20,000 a month because you're high risk. We don't want people to get taken advantage of like that. I mean, you know, it happens, but we want to try to avoid that. So we're going to teach them and educate them on how to qualify to buy their own building, and what areas will allow you to do the cannabis industry legally. We're also going to do real estate and retirement events. This is for your 60+ crowd, 62+ crowd. This is going to be for it's also going to be for people who are just plan ahead. They wanna retire. So how can we help you buy multifamily property or commercial property to help you retire earlier or at least supplement your income? But we also wanna talk a lot about reverse mortgages. People don't take advantage of it enough. And we're gonna start educating more people on, on using that reverse mortgage. My mother is one person that I'm using. She'll be 62 in, a few days, I think. Actually, sorry, my dad will be 62 in a few, he just turned 62. My mom will be 62 next year. So I'm trying to prepare for her to purchase property as a senior with basically no down payment. Right, so reverse mortgages are an amazing tool. A lot of 62-year-olds, especially now, people are living a little bit longer, they're healthier. 62 is just the beginning, right? So you have a retirement, you have 401k, maybe you have a home with some equity or your home is paid for now. Now is the perfect time for them to be educated in how they can increase their monthly cash flow, right? Or how they can team up with another investor and use that cash to help partner up and flip property, you know? So we're gonna be doing those events pretty soon. We're also gonna talk to them about, you know, some of them, a lot of people wanna relocate to Florida, Texas, and some other areas, Tennessee. We're gonna discuss that with them as well. Movie night. So I spoke about this like a year and some change ago. I've had quite a few events kind of like in the chamber, but we are going to host a movie night in Woodland Hills, and the movie is going to be the Joy Luck Club. This is for women. This is for mothers and daughters, okay? This is for your aunts, your grandmothers. This movie is probably one of my favorite movies in the world. If you haven't seen it, most of us heard of it, or we kind of like saw bits and pieces in the 90s. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing movie. It can be for men as well, but I think just as women, you get a lot more out of it. So we're gonna do this at the Q in Woodland Hills, and we're gonna have refreshments. You can have wine, bring your mom, bring your daughter, your grandmother, your aunts, whoever, your girlfriends. And I promise you, you're probably going to leave a changed woman. Okay, so that's gonna be December 16th. I have to confirm the dates, but we're gonna like announce all this stuff later. But that's gonna be at the Q, December 16th. We're gonna watch the Joy Luck Club, and we have some other events going on. I don't think we have them all up here. Let me just see. I don't know what I did with them, but we do have other events coming up, but we'll send those out and we're gonna post about those later. So you can go to the next slide, Kate. Because of course the goal of this meeting is always to close deals, right? So as you know, I know I can't see your whatever messages you guys are writing, but off-market deals are, you know, those are the best things right now. And it's crazy because a lot of times off-market deals are even priced higher than on-market deals. But people just like the term off-market, right? Investors call all the time and they want an off-market deal. So I'm going to go over what deals I have, if anybody else has some deals or some services that they want to offer or speak about, now will be your time. Okay, so because of course I do wholesaling, that's been kind of like my go-to thing as an investor lately. I kind of put to the side buying multifamily property myself right now because I decided to focus on wholesale for, I don't know, for the foreseeable future, right? What I like about wholesale is, you know, you don't require a lot of money down, tying it up and you sell it. So anyway, I have a deal coming up. Hopefully I have the details for you guys soon, but I'm gonna give you a general synopsis of the deal. It's a Beverly Hills deal that is worth about 2.3 million, give or take. I'm gonna be asking a little less than 2 million for that deal. So as is, it's gosh, I don't have the details of this. So pull it up. As a matter of fact, do you wanna go for Greg? Do you guys have like any deals or services you wanna offer, Bob?
Okay.
Information.
Hello, everybody. My name is Greg Harris. I'm with New York Life, with Youth Financial Services, and I was just talking about. We're going to be doing a first-time home buyer and financial services training or presentation on December the 2nd. Over in Glendale. I was going to tell Ryan about it. See, he already has.
First, when is it?
December the 2nd. And
Okay, I don't know if I do, but,
I think it was down in Florida, there's retirement, I think it was.
oh, yeah, but I don't think it's the second. Go ahead.
What we were doing is, we're having us as financial planners and, I have a mortgage lender and going to see if I can chat with a realtor and credit restoration specialist for, this particular event. It's going to be something we're going to do once a month. We're going to be doing first time home buyer 1 month, every quarter, we'll be doing first time home buyer 1 month, move up buyer, next month, and the third month meeting for investors, out of our Glendale office. And that was one of the things to show all of you and to bring to, Ryan's sessions. I hope, I'd like to, exchange business cards with you guys.
Okay. Welcome, and then Danielle. Not you, the other, not you. Oh, it's not.
I'm Danielle Williams, I'm with Greg, and so I'm just, piggybacking on everything that he said. Really looking forward to getting this off the ground.
Thank you for coming.
Now, I'm Danielle Love. I am, the new owner of More Escrow here in Beverly Hills. This is one of my escrow officers, Jay, and, I'm here to serve you, as far as from both sales, commercial. I have about 7 officers. So if you guys need any type of escrow services, go to our website at www.moreescrow.com. Open your escrow online, and you can also pick the escrow officer you would like to work with.
Congrats. Nice. Okay, and what was your name again? I'm sorry.
Jade.
Jade?
Jade.
Okay, and then you're one of the escrow officers?
Yes.
Nice. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming. Do you want to say anything? What's your specialty? What's your niche in escrow?
I mostly do residential.
Okay.
I've been in escrow since 2003. It's, always exciting for me. I really enjoy helping people get into either their new home or, their first home, actually. Just explaining the process, because a lot of times when it is their first time, they don't understand what's going on. So I just enjoy helping them and doing that.
So nice. Well, welcome. Thank you. Yeah, the one thing I always say about real estate when people ask, I don't care which angle you're in it, we hold our breath the entire time. And it is such a nerve-wracking industry that, again, I always say this, we always have these vices because when we have deals, you can have 20 deals in escrow, and you're gonna think, oh, I'm gonna make all this money, it's gonna be great. By the time these escrows close, you may have 5 that close, if they close, and you're gonna have so many gray hairs from all of the headache. And when you get paid, it's so rewarding, but a lot of times we don't get paid, which is why I don't like the discount situation that we're facing, because what we bring to the table, the liability, the education, the hand holding is worth quite a bit. If it was a salary position, we'd all be making easily 6 figures, easily. So, thank you. You're welcome. All right, Ryan.
I'm Rob Cunningham, I'm in the Harmony space. I've worked with Brian and Danielle probably just about 2 years, maybe more. Maybe more than 2 years, but definitely, just in the Harmony space and do mortgages, real estate, just like Brian does. I come to these meetings definitely support the cause. Support what Brian's doing, I believe in both these two young ladies here. Today I'm just here to listen, soak up and learn what else is new before I stays on the cutting edge. So, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, appreciate the faces, a lot of people wanna do Zoom now, and I'm so over Zoom. And I think especially with real estate, one thing that we have to understand is that it's a relationship business.
Yeah.
And I have so many lenders and all these people that are always hitting me up and they want my business and they wanna work with me, and they don't show up for me. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't, and I always tell them, I will forget you if I don't see you in person on a consistent basis. I'm sending my business to who I see on a regular basis, so it's one of those things as a realtor, as a lender, as a title rep, as anything, escrow. You have to show up and get in front of people in order to have consistent business, okay? It's just a reminder of, oh yeah, you sent me that email on, on Instagram. You know, you've been DMing me, you've been calling me, you want my title is, you have to show up in person, so. And then Andre.
I'm Andre, here for support.
Okay.
Always wants to be very pleased, so this is support, I'm in the credit restoration space, lending space, Harlem and Nike, and, things like that. Again,
They have a podcast together too, they didn't mention, but they have a, what is it called? Making Dollars and Cents, they have a podcast, and like you said, he does credit restoration, and Ron is your lending guy, but they both do lending. I appreciate you guys showing up. I appreciate it because to me, it makes a huge difference when, you know that you're gonna have some physical faces. Because I like to be physical, I like to see faces when I talk, it encourages me to keep going, especially if you've had a rough week or a month or whatever, for me, it's been a year. So it's encouraging to be around other like-minded people and to talk and have feedback. It is so, we do our weekly, we do a lot of stuff via Zoom. But it's not the same, because a lot of times when I'm doing Zoom, I'm sitting at home and I'm like eating a Pop-Tart, I got some TV on, I put something on so I look halfway decent, but I'm not in the full mode. So it's totally different than to be in person with people. So I want to encourage my team to, because we always do this meeting on the same day, every single month, the first Tuesday of the month at 10:30 a.m. at the Wilshire office. I really want to encourage you guys to make sure you schedule things around this, because again, I'm pouring into you and I want to educate, I want us to team up and work together. It helps the cause when we see your faces. It shows support and it shows some respect on what goes into organizing these things. It takes a lot to organize a meeting, even though it may not appear like it. My administrative staff, which is on here, I can almost guarantee you that I stress them out every week, every day. I stress them out to coordinate things. Okay.
Great job.
Yeah, thank you. So that's kind of the thing here is that, I wanna make sure that we show our appreciation by showing up. The holiday party is something that I wanted to do just to show appreciation. I don't know if you guys know, we'll wrap up, but, so a friend of mine, Latrice, she just opened up her firm in Pasadena. Latrice is amazing. Like, I love her spirit. Right, so I support her, she has an amazing team. I want our teams to do more stuff together. Brokerages don't have to be like competition. What's for her is for her, what's for me is for me, and the rest of them. I saw Antoine, there's a lot of us that need to do more together. And showing up in person is a big part of that. I also want to announce that Rita, which is one of our agents, she's actually a broker associated with our team. She's now the president of KREB, I don't know if I say that right, but KREB, California Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is huge. It's been around for like 100 years or something like that. And then I've been elected as a director of KREB. So now I'm sitting on the seat. So thank you. What's funny is if it wasn't for Rita, I would not have done it. I love Rhea. Rhea is dope. If you've ever met her, Rhea is super dope. Rhea hosted our marketing strategy Wednesday last week. Rhea has a whole like online virtual brokerage. So we're gonna talk about that at our next one of our next meetings, but what she built, any of you have kids that play Roblox? Okay, so Roblox, Danny is always like showing me Roblox. Oh, look at this house I built. Look at this, you know, but I built this and look at my character, and her friends are in there with her and they're playing together and they all built their homes or built whatever. So Rhea has a brokerage like that. And she was sending me texts and she's like, you know, I want you to look at this, what I built. And I'm like, I don't know, like you're talking like French to me. I have no idea what you're talking about with this AI stuff. I said, why don't you host the class? And she did. And I was blown away and I finally understand the metaverse. I finally understand that when she's saying like, oh, we can have this virtual thing, what she means is, you see how we have this Zoom, what will be different is, let's just say like, you know, the virtual reality thing when you put on your head. So we would, and let's just say all of us put on some goggles and everyone that's in the Zoom. Now it looks like we're in Miami on the beach in a conference room. And you look to your left and there's Sway. You look to your right and there's weather. We're sitting in there. Now it appears that we are physically together. So it was just crazy. And other people can join in. So if we're all on the same platform, I might be a little wrong on this, but I know that strangers can walk in to your office, your virtual office. Listen, it is, when Rhea showed me, I was like, what? Wow. All of this metaverse, you go to your left and there's some strange guy walking in. It's like, that's someone else in the metaverse. So,
We got a briefcase on metaverse.
great.
Didn't hear that. Yeah.
What?
Some lady got raped in the metaverse.
Yeah.
She.
Actually, Bill,
Yeah. I get the content of what the metaverse was doing.
yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, we're gonna just take the goggles off.
Right.
Stay in.
Okay, so you know, you see movies, well, so I've seen some movies, I don't know the name, I haven't figured out, where you couldn't get out. And that was where I was like, oh, this is scary, but you can take the goggles off and walk out, so that's ridiculous. She's sitting there and got her.
Case right now.
You didn't know, like, huge transfer, but that's just something that so Danny, one of the things that she's required to do is to create this metaverse for the Fox group. So we're gonna have like what, she knows how to do it because she does Roblox. So I just told her she's gonna build me an AI character of myself, and she's going to create, she's an author.
She needs to talk to the school to learn how to code.
See, that's the thing. So that's the reason why I told her to do it, because I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do it. What I want her to do is she's already into it. She already knows coding. They learned coding years ago.
The whole production and everything on
That
YouTube.
is for and he's younger than me. So one of her assignments is to create that for us, because I was like, I still need to talk to Rhea. Rhea, you walk in, it's nice, the office like this, you walk in and virtually, and you can click a button here that teaches you about home buying, and you can sit down and meet. So if you're client, so it's a little bit more in depth than just being on a Zoom.
I'm just out of curiosity, is that Danny Charlie?
Is she what?
Charlie?
No, so what I told her, she tried. So I told her, I said, you're gonna be for free, and then we'll charge other people.
Oh, okay.
So she's, so everybody has to be charged. Yes. So, I told her that's kind of like, because this is where everything is going.
Yeah.
Because 10 years ago, you couldn't tell me that we're gonna do some virtual anything. Even Zoom 20 years ago was like, I wouldn't even comprehend it. So when Rhea was breaking it down, and Rhea's like deep into what she is. She's deep into it. And I can tell her, you texted me this stuff, I don't know what you're talking about, girl. Cause I see her on, you see her, she was like, well, she's speaking and she's playing. Like, what are you playing? Roblox, that's what I see. But when she showed us, and it'll be uploaded onto our YouTube soon, the training that she did, is phenomenal. Phenomenal, so, what I like to, what I see it happening is like for us wholesalers and stuff, we wholesale across the country.
Right.
So imagine if we can get a seller and ourselves sit at the table together virtually. So now it's not like we're just talking on the phone or even a Zoom, now it's like we're sitting at the table together. I mean, you can eat, you can do a whole lot of stuff, right?
But they have to have the equipment, right? to do
It's
it.
not equipment, so you can have a headset, but you don't have to have a headset. You can do it just logging in, right? So, the headset makes you be in there like where you see it too. Otherwise, I can just be on the computer telling my little man where to go. You know, controlling the voice, and you can also have a receptionist, but she was showing us everything. So we can have an AI receptionist that when someone walks in, they click the receptionist and the receptionist responds to them. So if they say, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Fox Group, and then you say, I wanna buy a house or whatever, and then the AI, just like ChatGPT, will respond based on it'll be a conversation. Like, that's dope, that's super dope, so anyways, I don't know if we have any more chats, but I am pretty much done here. What was that? Yeah, go ahead.
You were talking about that, NAR, market, and then winning and that,
Mhm.
that maybe a lower, and it's kind of a side note, do you think that the government will have to step in and play places like BlackRock and Invitationals and, you know, we become a nation of renters? Do you think that they would have to step in just so we have a sense of normalcy and the real estate market will still come back, will be able to?
I would say no, they're gonna step in, they wouldn't allow it to happen. I think it just, the dynamic's gonna change. I just think that what's gonna happen, I was watching something, today or yesterday where, a real estate broker in the Ukraine, he was saying just how unorganized their system is when it comes to buying property. Because they don't have an NAR, they don't have, that structure, they don't have the cooperating broker compensation. So what happens is a lot of times people get screwed, right? They don't have buyer representation. So you go in there and you don't know what you're stepping into. I don't think that our government's gonna step in. I think that just the real estate industry is going to change.
Would be good for real estate professionals or?
Anything can be good if you look at it differently, you just have to operate it. So to me, it's all about like, this is not like not getting water. This is like, you just have to change your industry. If we had started this way, what's gonna happen is people have to save more money. You might have to up your clientele and say, hey, instead of needing 20,000 to buy that home, you're gonna have to do 35, I need 15. Or we're gonna have to offer different financing options. Or for instance, the seller, they're going to end up, it's gonna be such a long process, I think, for sellers to not have to compensate a buyer's agent. Listing agents do not have the buyers to sell the property. They just don't, they put it on the MLS and going about their day. They need a buyer's agent, right? So it's either, and even if they double-ended, you know, it's just gonna turn more competitive. We're probably gonna be looking at, which is something they've been fighting anyway, is instead of agents being independent contractors, we have to pay them employees. Because that would make more sense if they might not get compensated from a buyer's, as a buyer's agent. Okay, we just get an hourly wage. And quite frankly, most realtors are broke, they'll take it. You know what I mean? Oh, it's a sales job. You know, so honestly, I think what's gonna happen is they're probably gonna require us to make agents hourly.
Lawsuits, right?
It is.
The things wrong, who they find, I think the sellers is not doing the diligence, it's conflict of interest for a seller's agent to do.
The double-ended.
Yeah, it's just like having an attorney in the court.
They represent both.
Okay.
Well, my attorney told me, don't ever go. Now, of course you can, but my attorney said don't do it. Because it's just too much of a conflict. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna see a lot more of it, which is gonna be a lot of lawsuits, like I said. Or the buyer has no representation and then they sue anyway because they didn't have representation. They didn't know. They didn't know the disclosures were this and that and this and that. That's exactly why I said what's gonna happen is they're probably gonna end up making us make our agents employees, pay them hourly, represent them, but again, as a broker, I'm fully liable for my agents. I'm fully liable, if they screw up, I'm fully liable. Once you become hourly, I mean, just the amount of like insurance and all this stuff that I would have to have agents, I just wouldn't do it.
It's my loss.
I just wouldn't do it. I'm gonna stick to invest. To be honest, the workers' comp, all of the stuff that you have to already have for them, I just don't see it being worth it if we're not making the big bucks. If I'm paying you hourly to represent a buyer, what do I make as a broker? You know what I mean? I would have to charge them $100 an hour and pay you $30 an hour or whatever. It can work. I mean, that's just something that I think we have to start like preparing for. Right, and I think that's what I love about like what Rita's doing and some of the other brokers that I know. We have to start thinking ahead at this point. We can't just, like, this stuff is changing at a rapid rate. You know, Zillow buying follow-up boss, they're about to contact all your clients. If you use follow-up boss as a CRM or they have access to all of your clients. They're gonna start reaching out to them. Hey, save your money. You don't need to pay a buyer's agent. You don't need to pay a listing. If you're a homeowner and want to sell your home, put it on Zillow. When you sell it, you pay us $200 or whatever. There's charge. Why do they need a real estate agent? Right? So it's just changing. I don't, good or bad, things changing. We have to adapt. Things change. Everything's a cycle. Nothing stays the same forever. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, one of the reasons I started the capital group is because, financial services aren't gonna go away. Life insurance isn't gonna go away. People needing capital for their business is not gonna go away. It's actually increasing because people are more knowledgeable. So, I think, it's just what it is. Yeah. Anybody else? Well, that's it for me. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm gonna end this. Oh. All right, AJ, see that, so. You coming?